Okay, people, so I got some Louisiana hot sauce. This is going to be a big spicy food reaction in the future, mainly because what it said was, I think I read at the grocery store that it only takes one drop in order for it to be hot, so this could definitely prove something. Figured, what the hell, let's get it, and figure out what to put that stuff on, and we're gonna have one hell of a time. I mean, obviously, if it's really only one drop that's gonna do it, I'll probably do like 4 drops just to make sure. I also want to kind of talk about, this is kind of halfway a rant, but also just an observation at the same time. Some people, when you go grocery shopping, are the rudest sorts. You know, I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but you know, if you get a shopping cart and go to a grocery store, you know, there's people who will come into the same aisle as you. And the whole thing is, for some strange reason, wherever I am standing with my shopping cart is always the place where a person wants to go. You know, I mean, if I could count all the times I've heard someone say to me, "Excuse me," because I happened to be standing at the right exact spot where they wanted to look, I think, you know, I mean, you know, that old saying, if I had a nickel for every time that's happened, I mean, it always happens. And I think part of it is just because of the way I look, just because people are intrigued. You know, I'm tall and I'm not ugly, and, you know, most motherfuckers, they say, well, he must have something interesting, I want to see what he's looking at. But it still pisses me off. I mean, you look at that and you go to a grocery store, and I notice, I mean, you know, when you go there, they're not excusing themselves through the person directly behind me, which is another thing. The person behind me is trying to shoo me out of the aisle, and the person that's walking in the opposite direction of me, walking towards me as I'm walking towards them, wants to see the stuff on the side where I am. It pisses me off to no end. It's one thing, you know, you get to the point where it's like you want to be as rude as possible to give them the hardest time. I just haven't really, you know, had to learn grocery store manners as much, but it's always been something that's pissed me off. This felt like saying it to see if anyone else knows what I'm talking about. Like, let's suppose that, you know, this couch is where the food is, and this is me right here, and then a person, we'll use this dumbbell as a prop, a person will be right there. Well, no, trying to think of how to put this correctly. Yeah, a person is walking this way, you know, to the south, and I'm walking to the north, but then they want to be right here. You know, they don't want to be looking this way, you know, they don't want to be looking to the west. I mean, that's just, this is something I deal with every single time I go to the grocery store. So you just have to be aware of that. This is something I deal with all the time. And you'll usually get the people who have this, like, you know, this voice that is like nails on a chalkboard or something, where it's like, "Excuse me." And, you know, just, they say it in the perfect way, just enough to piss you off. But this is something, I mean, you'll never